Now let's move on to the final story, which they're already chatting about in the chat, and that is to do with Prince Andrew. Scotland Yard has said it will take no further action over the sex abuse allegations made against Prince Andrew. Force said it had conducted 2 reviews into allegations surrounding Jeffrey Epstein and the Duke of York. This obviously related to allegations of grooming and abuse of young women in Britain. And the second is into rape claims made by Virginia Roberts Giuffre against Andrew in New York and at a Mayfair house. Andrew still faces civil lawsuit in the US after Miss Giuffre accused him of rape in the first degree. And of course, what we heard in the Sunday papers yesterday, it's very interesting. So this news came out last night, but in the Sunday papers yesterday, it was royals closed the door on Andrew. Prince Andrew has been sort of shunned by Charles, Edward and Anne. They block his return to public life. William brands him a threat to the firm. And this just shows you how coordinated it all was. Of course, the royal courtiers, the royal family would have known that the announcement was coming from the Metropolitan Police. And the royals are absolutely aware that Andrew is extremely damaging to the royal brand. No doubt about it, he is. And the longer that he continues to sort of avoid having to answer questions about Virginia Roberts, the longer it's going to be problematic. And so the thing is about any messages that come from the palace, they are extremely well coordinated. They are usually from the top of the firm, i.e. the Queen and, the top members of the royal family. Obviously, it should be said, Andrew is not now obviously facing any criminal charges. He categorically denies Virginia's claims against him and is thought to actually be very keen to make a return to a working royal. But I think the chances are extremely slim. He was never one of the favourite royals anyway. They knew him as Randy Andy, Air Miles Andrew. So his public image wasn't good anyway without actually being accused of raping a 17-year-old. And what's interesting, of course, is that the age of consent in the UK is 16. But in America, if he did truly have sex with Virginia at 17, then that is illegal under American law. So we shall obviously see the outcome of that. Any thoughts about that, Scott?
It's all very confusing. Exactly what you said is when I read some of the papers yesterday of those headlines that you mentioned, I said to my other half, I said, okay, something's coming out. So what's next? And then suddenly last night, there was that announcement from the Met. But as soon as I saw those in the Sunday papers and the papers specifically that they were, and the journalists specifically that had written them, was my first thought was there's going to be something coming out or something new or something changing. That was my immediate thought. I find it very confusing. I don't know the exit plan or strategy that Andrew or the royal family can do with this. They ostracized him, rightly so. Yeah. But now that this has come up from Virginia, and I'm very intrigued to find out if we ever possibly can, what's in that agreement that she made with Epstein or Epstein's estate, which Prince Andrew's lawyers now have been given permission to see. But I just don't see what's next and where's the exit plan for the royal family, or what they can do with Andrew, or whether will they just try and buy her off and silence her in some way, because she doesn't appear to be going away with this.
Yeah.
In any way, shape or form, it's not the gift that keeps on giving, but she is not shutting up. She is carrying on and she is pushing ahead.
Absolutely. And what's interesting, sorry, pardon.
No, I was just going to say, if these allegations are true, then fair play to her. So she should keep pushing on.
Absolutely.
If they are true.
Absolutely. Yeah. Interestingly, Andrew's legal team have now been granted an opportunity to review a previously secret settlement that Virginia had between her and Epstein. Andrew Brettler, who is a lawyer for Andrew, told the judges in the case that he believed the agreement absolves our client of all liability. And said there has been a settlement agreement that the plaintiff has entered into in a prior action that releases the Duke and others from any and all potential liability. Well, of course, any representative Andrew would say that. But David Boyes, who is representing Virginia Roberts Giuffre, said, although we believe that the release is irrelevant to the case against Prince Andrew, we believe that counsel for Prince Andrew have a right to review the release and to make whatever arguments they believe appropriate based on it. So, you know, we shall see. Let's have a little look at what they're saying in the comments. Oh, I don't know if I should laugh at that, but it's a bit naughty. Defer, let's rename all pubs the Duke of York, under 18s welcome. Oh dear. Yes, Country Boy, could be another car crash coming up. I mean, that interview with Andrew and Emily Maitlis was an absolute car crash. Did you ever watch that, Scott?
I did watch that. It was, I mean, first of all, I can't believe he was arrogant enough and stupid enough to do that interview in the first place. But it was interesting and it was one of the first things I checked in the morning. Was I was thinking about the Pizza Express media team. Yeah. And yeah, when they woke up or logged into their social media accounts in the morning, that was clearly hell for them. I can't believe he did the interview in the first place. I mean, the mantra of the royal family used to be something along the lines of, you know, never apologise, never explain, or something like that.
That's right.
But it's it's I don't know. I would keep thinking about that agreement when it came out. There was an agreement between her and Epstein. It made me think back to the original time when Epstein first got prosecuted. Well, kind of prosecuted. He did whatever he wanted to do and just had to, you know, stay at home or whatever for a few hours a day. Is that in that punishment for him, there was an agreement that absolutely everybody and anybody who was involved with him, anyone that had been on the island, anyone on the flight logs, anyone that had been to his house, would never get prosecuted ever in the United States of America. So that's in place there. And whether is Andrew's name in that? So because this case is taking place, this civil case is taking place in New York, in America, does it mean that she doesn't have a leg to stand on in America with regards to that agreement? Because we know there's
questions to answer.
So that's why
so much to answer. Yeah,
exactly. But it's going to run and run, just like the Maddie side of things. This is not going to go away tomorrow.
No, indeed it isn't. Listen, Scott, I'm going to let you go. Of course, this is an appropriate moment to say Epstein didn't kill himself.
Of course he didn't.